Welcome to Simmons Says, where I help emerging and struggling writers create intriguing plots and compelling characters to make their stories hard to put down and even harder to forget. Hey there. Yes, you do see what you're seeing. This is Snoopy, and he's in all of his glory in this, and I'm sitting here in this outfit, which was a gift that was given to me by somebody who likes me. What can I say? I'm a likable person at times, but I'm sitting here wearing this for this video because, in effect, I'm comfortable sitting here wearing this because the kid in me is enjoying this. Now, yes, I could be sitting here in a three-piece suit, a turtleneck, a dashiki, any number of items. But I'm wearing this, right? And I wouldn't necessarily wear this to the store, right? Or even to go in and teach a lesson or something at a school. But I'm wearing it now because A, I'm home, and B, because it fits with what I'm going to talk about, which is the holidays, the myths, the magic, the 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 sort of interesting effect that the holidays have on us as a culture. Now, again, I live in the United States. I've traveled a bit, Europe, Africa, Mexico, a little bit of South America. Uh, I am not worldly wise on any grand scale at all, but I can talk about how the holidays are seen here in the United States through the years that I've existed. And it's an amazing thing. I mean, there's there's the mythologies of the holidays, there's the magic of the holidays, there's all of these things, some of which are, pardon the non-PC phrasing, man-made. Society has taken some of these things and turned them into commercial commodity, inspirational moments to get people to dig into their purses and their wallets and do frivolous and wild things and expensive things around a particular time of the year. But there's also more to it. There's a celebrational aspect to it, one that keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and through stories, which is where writers come in. I mean, the holidays that I've known, that I've been most familiar with, are things like around, this time of the year, around December. A Christmas Carol, Gift of the Magi by O. Henry, It's a Wonderful Life is another movie. The Muppet Christmas Carol, which is again based on A Christmas Carol, which is a Dickens piece. The Charlie Brown Christmas, which is, I don't even know how many years old. It's certainly over 20, 30 years old, right? Miracle on 34th Street, made in the 1940s, right? Uh, that's that Santa Claus mentality. It's the home for the holidays mentality. It's the gift of giving mentality. The gift of the Magi is, I don't have anything, you don't have anything, but we love each other and we want to give each other something on this day. So we're going to make a sacrifice, a personal sacrifice, so that I can give to you. And you, unbeknownst to me, make a personal sacrifice so that I can give to you. It's that sort of thing, right? That's sort of like the message of the holidays. Take out the commercialism for a moment. That's the method, the message of the holidays. And you can add in Kris Kringle or the Krampus or oh God, there's a one I just learned about. I think it's oh, what is it now? It's should have pulled my materials together a little bit more solidly. Let's see here. Where do we go? Gifts of the Magi, yes, but yes. So I've learned about a number of different mythologies that go around this time of year. I mean, of course, we have Christmas, we have Santa Claus or Kris Kringle, right? And we have Jack Frost and all those characters that, again, Western United States families over the past 50 years or so are familiar with. But then there's Krampus, right, which is an Austrian and regional, a fictitious character who punishes bad kids around this time of year, right? So you've been misbehaving during the Christmas season, you get a punishment from the Krampus. Uh, there's another one I just found out about Italy, and I may not pronounce this right. Bifana, all right? An old woman who flies around on a broomstick, leaving gifts and candy for good children. and coal for the naughty ones. Well, Kris Kringle does that too, or at least in some stories he does. Now this is sort of interesting. Los Reyes Magos, and again, pardon my pronunciation, but that's from Spain or Latin America. It's the three kings, the Magi's, who are celebrated on January the 6th, right? And remember in the story of the Star of Bethlehem, these three kings bring a gift to the baby Jesus. Well, in this one, traditional scenario of bringing gifts to children, right? And this is again in Italy and Latin America. Then there's the Yule goat, which is out of Sweden and Finland, right? A traditional Christmas symbol often made of straw with a large version appearing in certain cities, right? Why? What is it about these stories and about these characters that we seem to still hold on to? What is the message? Well, in a lot of these messages, well, in a lot of these stories, the message seems to be A, be good, right? Be kind, be thoughtful, but also it's about gathering. It's about sharing, it's about giving, it's about taking care of. In all the old Hallmark movies, it's about finding love and maybe love within the family or coming home to the family or resolving some sort of conflict in the family so that we can all gather together and be a support to one another at this wonderful time of the year. Now that's that holiday recognition. Then there's Kwanzaa. Well, The Black Candle was a film, a documentary done in 2008. There's Holiday Heritage, which is a Hallmark film, again, about family coming together, but also recognizing Kwanzaa and identifying with the values, the principles of Kwanzaa. There's a Rugrat Kwanzaa film that was done in the early part of the 2000s. There's the 7 Days of Kwanzaa, which was an episode of a Disney cartoon show called The Proud Family. But once again, talking about the values of Kwanzaa, about knowledge and recognizing your elders, and again, about recognizing the value of life, of community, of giving, of taking care of each other, of love. Maybe maybe that's why some of these stories still hold on. Maybe. I mean, think about it for a moment. What do we need most? Almost 365 days a year. What is it that's sometimes absent from our lives much of that time? Hanukkah. Again, I often say at this time of year, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Okay, so I try and cover all the bases. It's not me being disrespectful, right? But Hanukkah, again, the candles, recognizing again a tradition. Now, I'm not an expert of any of this, so I'll simply talk about some of the films, the stories that are told. An American Tale, an animated film with Feifel coming to America. Now, that represents the Jewish experience of coming from their country, or at least from where they lived, to America to make this their home, right? And it's told through the exploits of this little mouse and in this sort of mouse-like world, the way we look at things. But, like Animal Farm, we are using creatures of nature to represent the human condition. Um, Hanukkah on Rye, a Hallmark romantic comedy about two rival delicatessen owners who find love during the Festival of Lights. A Rugrat Hanukkah, which was made in 1999, if I remember right. There's a Friends episode of Hanukkah. And again, about family and friends and coming together. So once again, what's the message from Dickens and A Christmas Carol through A Wonderful Life, through Kwanzaa, through Hanukkah? What is the message? Why, again, do we hold on to these holiday films and themes and stories? It's about finding something good and valuable, recognizing it as valuable, recognizing family, friends, heritage, love, giving, sharing, looking after others. These are valuable stories, valuable lessons. Maybe there's stories that we should be telling 12 months out of the year, 365 days out of the year. But certain times of the year, at least here, we pile it on. And we, again, pushing the commercialism to the side, we tell these stories repeatedly with the hope that in the compressed period of time between the beginning of December and the end of December, we can store up enough good vibes, enough good feelings, enough renewing of our faith in being decent human beings to help us make it through the next 6, 7, 8 months. A writer's job is, yes, to entertain. It's also to educate and enlighten, to lift spirits, to show the way, to help us remember valuable moments, to discover that we are not alone, to make us feel seen and amused and good. And sometimes it takes small, gentle characters like this, and sometimes it takes monumental tales with a cast of hundreds. Sometimes it's about soldiers who aren't home during the holidays. Sometimes it's about those people who are unfortunate enough to not have a home and not have a family. And maybe we should recognize them and see them around this time of year and do for them as best we can. Those of us who are blessed to be with loved ones. I don't know. I know how I feel. I know how the adult me feels. I know how the kid me feels. And ultimately, using these stories to remind us to be better people, it's a win-win. Being a better person, a giving person, a caring person, it's going to help you feel better about yourself. But somewhere out there, there's someone who needs that moment, that kindness. And it's going to make them feel a little bit better. Maybe even just for a little bit of time. But that's better than nothing. So here's to the myth, the magic, the merriment of the holidays and the holiday stories. Keep telling them. The old ones, the familiar ones. But how about some new ones too? Why not? Okay, that's it from Simmons here on Simmons Says. Happy holidays.